First of all, what I would do is I do not accept the principle that they put in place, and that is, and you'll get this all the time, hey, this is political in nature. Do not allow that to be the beginning of the discussion. You begin with the premise. You just say, okay, I'm a Christian, and I need you to understand that I don't see this as political at all. This is moral. God spoke very clearly on these issues, and so you're asking me my religious position on this. Now, here's why you do that, guys. It's just shrewd. Because what happens now is they are on their back foot. Because the idea that you don't have the freedom of religion to hold a religious position is a whole different ballgame. They might try and look at you and say, you're not allowed from a DEI perspective, you're not allowed to have that perspective in this organization. All right, so don't let them do that to you. Don't allow them to classify this as political. The reason we talk about this stuff, guys, is because it's not political. It is a moral issue that God has dealt with. Therefore, it's a part of our religious belief system. And that becomes an important thing to begin with. So you begin there with that, because now they're going to have some difficulty on feeling okay that they can just go ahead and just kind of crank down on your religious position. So force them into that corner. They're trying to force you into a corner. Remember, the Bible tells us we're to be as innocent as doves, but as shrewd as serpents. And so we need to think well in how we present ourselves and what we do. In addition to that, guys, don't be afraid if you find yourself either before HR or even going to HR and saying, you know what, I mean, you're here to have certain norms put in place. I have certain religious positions. I'm not going around pushing my religious positions, but I am being asked about that on this issue. Oh, that's a no, that's very clearly a religious position. The Bible's clear. I'm going to show you tonight all these different things that it does talk about. And so I need you to know I'm feeling, and guys, I'm serious about this, to go, I'm feeling a little bit discriminated against here. I'm feeling some microaggressions happening in my religious, use their terminology right back at them and say, I don't want this to get weird or even legal because I do have the right of religion. I'm not pushing it. I'm being told I have to speak on this and then being attacked for that, and that's simply not okay. So guys, we need to learn how to shrewdly deal with this. In addition to that, guys, I need you to feel the current or the tide as far as where we're finding ourselves in America right now. I think you're probably aware of some of the stuff going on, but and I know he was really awful before, but Zuckerberg and what he's doing right now and the positions, I mean, he is now taking out of Meta, Facebook, DEI. He then came out and said he's taken out ESG. Now, ESG is just climate garbage, all right? So he's taken that out, and he just came out today and said he's firing 5% of his workforce based on all of that stuff. And hopefully he'll even go beyond that. And so some things are beginning to happen. Now, some people say, oh, he's just doing that because, Trump's the hot ticket right now. I don't care why he's doing it. Because one thing that can happen is if he goes through the process of fixing all this garbage, he's going to see more success. And therefore, a lot of these guys, as they start to look at this, they start to desire to be successful, and they can go that way. Secondly, I don't know if you've listened, but Zuckerberg's been coming out. He came out on Joe Rogan, and he flat out said, which please understand how illegal this is, that the Biden government came after him over and over and over, demanding he takes that stuff down, said they were yelling at him, they were threatening him if he didn't take certain things down. They did it on the whole COVID mess, because people were pointing out that it didn't work, that the mRNA stuff, that was something that hadn't been tested. They went through the whole thing, and he's pointing out all of that took place. So you have another aspect you have to understand. He's really ticked about the way he was treated. I mean, he's a multi-billionaire and very, very successful with what he does, and he just didn't like that. I'll take that, guys. Take stuff like that and run. I don't know if you saw what Larry Fink came out and said this week. Larry Fink is the head of BlackRock. If you don't know what BlackRock is, you might have heard of Vanguard. I'm invested in Vanguard. BlackRock is bigger than Vanguard. It's the biggest investment corporation in the world. BlackRock came out, and so this is Larry Fink. I mean, he's been an advocate and said we're done with ESG. Now, I'll tell you why he's done with ESG. Again, that's climate garbage, all right, the fake climate stuff. And if you haven't if you don't want the facts about the fake climate stuff, I've got all of that in a seminar. Or my fourth book, A Dangerous Environment, covers all of that. For instance, I give you, I think it was 176 major predictions that the climate industry has made. I think it was 176, right around that number. Guess how many they got right? That's right. Literally have never gotten a single prediction right. It's a scam, and it's all laid out there. So Larry Fink's been huge on this with BlackRock. He comes out and he says, we're done. No more ESG. Now, I can tell you at least part of the reason he's doing that. He has a fiduciary responsibility to do the very best he can for the people that invest with him. That's a legal responsibility. A whole bunch of states like Florida, Texas, they have pulled their public money away from BlackRock. It's resulted in hundreds of billions of dollars running away from them. His stockholders are ticked because of all. So there's lots of reasons he's probably pulling out of this. I don't care why. He just is. And what he'll do is he'll see more success when that happens. So guys, the winds of change are starting to go the right direction right now. And so have a little courage. All right, be able and outthink them so that they kind of don't see you coming in a situation like you're in. I will say, I'm sorry you're in that situation. I guess what I'm trying to say is, I believe as time goes on, you'll see yourself less and less in that situation, because this is the trend that's happening right now. Hey, how about the idea that Hamas is going to release hostages? Biden is really good at his job, isn't he? Yeah, he's taking credit for that. Did you hear that? He's taking credit, even though, if you remember, Trump said, you don't do that by ignoring, you know what Trump said. He's like, you're going to have something to pay if you do all that. So some good things are going on, guys. And so I want you to be encouraged and feel kind of the opportunity to stand up and be strong. It was harder to be strong the last 4 years than it should be going forward. So let's make sure that we kind of stand up and take that opportunity.